Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and today's title is ADHD Alternative. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. The exact causes of ADHD are unknown and may differ from patient to patient. So for 1번, we're going to do differ from noun, 명사, to noun. Repeating the same noun both times, so you can't have two different nouns. 같은 명사 필요합니다. To express that something varies among individuals. Okay, let me explain. So basically we say what 명사 plus 마다 plus 다르다. Okay? It differ from noun to noun. Okay. So, if we look at our examples here, tastes in music can differ from person to person. So, 음악에 대한 취향은 사람마다 많이 다를 수 있다. So, everybody has different music tastes. The same group of people usually won't have the same music taste. It differs from person to person. As we can see, I'm using the same 명사, the same noun, here and here. So tastes in music can differ a lot from person to person. 음악에 대한 취향은 사람마다 많이 다를 수도 있다. Or, fashion trends differ from year to year. So, differ from year to year. In this case, our 명사 is year, or year to year. In Australian pronunciation, we say year, not year. So, 패션 트렌드는 해마다 다르다. Quite an easy example today. So remember, to express something varies among individuals. 명사마다 다르다, differ from noun to noun. The tastes in music can differ a lot from person to person. 음악에 대한 취향은 사람마다 많이 다를 수 있어요. Fashion trends differ from year to year. 패션 트렌드는 해마다 다르다. Alright. I don't think that needs any more explanations. Quite easy, I think. So let's go on to 2번. This kind of training isn't necessarily meant to replace treatment with drugs, but it could become an important supplement. Okay, so use not necessarily to express that something may be true, but may also not be true as well. Okay, let's have a look here. Not necessarily. Not necessarily is like saying 반드시. 이것도 꼭 아닌. Okay. So let's have a look at the example. Western people don't necessarily speak English. 서양 사람들은 반드시 영어를 말하지는 않는다. Just because they're from Western countries does not mean they speak English. 예를 들어서 독일 사람 영어 말하는 독일 사람도 많고 근데 안 하는 사람도 많아요. So just because they're Western does not mean they always speak English. In some cases, it may be true. In some cases, it may not also be true. Money isn't necessarily the key to happiness. It helps, though. So, 돈이 반드시 행복의 열쇠는 아니다. So, money is useful. Money is necessary. But it's not the key to happiness. When we say the key to happiness, meaning the way to become happy. But I think it helps. right. I think it's very basic today. So remember, not necessarily to express that something may be true, but may also not be true. Western people don't necessarily speak English. 서양 사람들은 반드시 영어를 말하지는 않는다. Money isn't necessarily the key to happiness. 돈이 반드시 행복의 열쇠는 아니다. Alright, now let's move on to the language focus quiz. 1번. Opinions about differ a lot from person to person. Let's go back to person. 명사마다 다르다. Differ from noun to noun. So, let's talk about religion. So, opinions about religion differ a lot from person to person. 종교에 대한 의견은 사람마다 많이 다르다. So some people are Christian, some people are Buddhist, some people are Presbyterian, etc. 2번. Differ from country to country. Simple. Oops. Let's get this underlined. Food can differ from country to country. 음식은 나라마다 다를 수도 있다. Korea has the best food, I think. I love Korean food. 3번. Necessarily. Not necessarily in this case. So this little isn't. So remember, not necessarily. Western people don't necessarily speak English. 서양 사람들은 반드시 영어를 말하지 않는다. It isn't necessarily a good idea to, let's say, argue with your boss. 그 상사와 논쟁하는 것이 반드시 좋은 생각은 아니다. Unless your boss is a terrible person. 4번. Doesn't necessarily have the best. Let's keep it simple. He doesn't necessarily have the best reputation. So, 그가 꼭 최고의 명성을 가지고 있다고는 할 수 없어요. Maybe sometimes he is a good person, but sometimes he's a bad person. He doesn't necessarily have the best reputation for this job. Now, let's move on to the further discussion. So, 1번. In general, do you think that the video games are good for your brain? 비디오 게임이 뇌에 좋다고 생각합니까? Yes and no. I don't think I played video games growing up, a lot of video games. Obviously, there is too much of anything is not good for you. So within moderation, I think video games are a great way for people to unwind, relax. In some cases, though you see many video gamers get really angry. But if you use the video game as sort of a relaxing activity that you do, it is good for the brain, I believe. Expanding on question 3, should parents limit the amount of time kids spend on playing video games? If so, how many hours should they allow? 부모님들은 아이들이 비디오 게임을 하는 시간을 제한해야 하는가? 만약 그렇다면 그들은 얼마나 많은 시간을 허용해야 할까요? I think the way it should be allocated is first, make sure all the important things are done first. Homework, school, chores, etc. When there is remaining time, then you can play video games. Now, depending on what kind of parent you are, if you're a parent who doesn't let your child do chores or something like that, you will have to maybe make certain arrangements with your child, they advise no more than 90 minutes. I think it's like 90 minutes or 2 hours per sitting time or in front of the video game. But I think if it affects them socially, if it affects their attitude, you should probably reduce it, in my opinion. But yes, that's just my opinion. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's class, and I'll see you on the next class.
Neurological.
Neurological.
Digital therapeutics.
Digital therapeutics.
Stimulant.
Stimulant.
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire.
Diagnosis.
Diagnosis.
Clinical trial.
Clinical trial.